Good morning, everybody. For the record, I know sometimes you'll like on the camera, Kevin Flanery, President of Churchill Downs Racetrack. Welcome on this beautiful, sunny 75 day, a John Asher Derby day. We're excited that we've been working very hard behind the scenes to look at what Derby Week will look like in the first week of September this year, working with the state, with the governor's office, with public health officials to ensure that we've got protocols in place that protect folks and make sure we have a great event. This week was the first time that the guidelines for events came out, I guess on Monday, and we received word yesterday that our protocols were in line as well. So happy to announce that we are going to conduct Derby Week with fans. It's going to be a different experience. This is a different year. I think if you think about the Derby experience, I always say that it's not just a 2-minute race. That experience begins long before you get to the racetrack. As an example, this year, we're trying to minimize the number of touch points, so ticketing. This year, the commemorative ticket stock will move away from that to mobile ticketing, so that experience will be different. Folks will get those tickets via their phone. They'll come to this facility. We'll spread out the entry components as we bring people in. We will have reduced capacities at various points throughout the facility. We're going to work through that, obviously just getting the guidelines this week and getting the approvals yesterday. We've got some work to do, but our team they are in it up to their necks and having a great time and really doing everything right to make sure that we have a great experience as we come into this facility. There will be some changes. I'll hit just a couple of highlights for you. Obviously, we're going to have reduced capacity in various areas. Don't know exactly where we'll be as we're working through these issues. General admission, for example, we will limit access for general admission tickets to the infield. That will alleviate a lot of the crowd on the front side and in the paddock area. We'll also, and a lot of the Derby experience is moving from room to room and that piece. We're really going to focus folks into the area that they have a ticket so that we limit the amount of movement throughout the facility, still making sure folks have a great time throughout that experience. We'll have a lot of safety protocols in place. All of our employees will be wearing masks. Those who should will be wearing gloves for various functions. We're asking the guests also to wear masks as they're coming into the facility and moving around the facility at various times. But really just trying to be respectful of one another, have a great time with the Derby, and make sure that we do something that's unique and special as we move forward. So with that, I'll just open it up for questions. I'm sure you'll have some.
Yeah, the CDC says that by mid-July, 130,000 to 150,000 people will die in America from the coronavirus. That's before September comes. What considerations are you making to, the possibility that people could get the virus here, and the number of, and what considerations are you making to the number of people who have died as a result of this virus?
Well, we obviously have 2 months until the Kentucky Derby is here. It's been a very difficult time for everybody around the world. I mean, this is a unique situation. Hasn't happened in over 100 years, and so we've been working with public health officials. So the plans that we put in place are working with looking at CDC guidelines, working directly with state and public health officials to make sure that the protocols we have in place are best in practice, if you will. So those are all things we're doing because we know a lot of people have had a lot of hurt during this crisis, and our hearts go out to them. But we also know that we have to take baby steps as a community to move forward and do something that lifts the spirits of this town and the world. And we're going to do our part on both sides to be safe and responsible, but also to try and make those movements so that we can get back to some sense of normalcy.
There are rising cases around the country. Would you take that into consideration if there are rising cases here? Is it possible that you might change plans and and decide not to have fans?
So this, over the last, 3 months since we announced the movement of the Derby, obviously every day it seems like something is different, something is changing. And we've tried to be very nimble, and we will continue to be nimble. We will adjust to the facts as they are in the moment, but we have to make plans. We have to look forward and say, what do we want to accomplish in 2 months? How do we bring people to the track in a safe and effective way? And how are we respectful of what's been happening around the country? And just move forward. So that's what we'll do. Someone over here had a question? So as far as specific numbers, don't know. We obviously just got the guidelines this week, working through it. We'll be actually reaching out to our guests, to the folks who have purchased tickets, talking to them about whether they can make the September piece. So we'll be communicating that with them. And we'll just, as I said, we'll be adapting and being nimble over the next couple of weeks to sort of figure that out. We're very fortunate. I mean, our infield has 26 acres of property there, so we got a lot of space there. We have over 1.6 million square feet of space under roof on the front side. So we have a lot of space to move people around. And now that we have some guidance, we'll adjust to that, and our team is back in the hallways right now doing that very thing to see where we will land.
Have you had a personal conversation with the governor and whether or not Churchill has
The governor did call us yesterday. We submitted our plans. We've been talking with the state, the governor's office, Dr. Stack, the public health officials. We've been providing them information all along the way. When we opened the backside, when we went to spectatorless racing, and with the Derby. So the governor did call yesterday and thanked us for the plan that we submitted and said it met their qualifications.
Yeah, the challenges that come to mind, getting people to the track, getting concessions, manage some of that in terms of freedom of movement to keep people safe.
Sure, it's going to be a different experience, as I said before. Obviously, we'll have a smaller crowd. We're eliminating a large portion of the GA. We're going to eliminate walk-arounds, for example. So on the front side, everybody who has a ticket has a seat, so they have a location they can go to. We really want to learn from what we've seen over the last 3 months in society. I think we've all become accustomed to queue lines, to stanchions, to being socially distanced and trying to be respectful of one another, and we're going to do that inside. So with regard to food and beverage, we won't have chef's tables. We will have some wonderful food, but it'll be delivered differently, either by the plate or in packages, so we'll respect that. Concession lines will be queued to keep people in a nice flow, just like we're doing in grocery stores and the Krogers and other places all around this town. The same thing with betting. We will spread out the mutual tellers and queue them as well. So all of those things that we've been learning the last 3 months, we will incorporate those into our plan, and we'll incorporate the things we learned over the next 2 months as other facilities open up. We're going to learn from them and incorporate that as well. It's a great point. So one of the great luxuries we have in our industry is that if you want to bet, you don't actually have to go to a window. You can bet on your own personal device. So we have a very robust, what's called a distributed antenna system. So your 4G works pretty well. We are investing some more in the Wi-Fi in certain areas between now and Derby, so we're going to boost some of that as well. So yes, absolutely, we're going to encourage folks to bet on their phone. Twinspires.com, it's easy to do, and creates less opportunity for folks moving around. So it will be people walking around the infield. So they will come in through the infield gate at the corner and be relegated to the infield itself. But that's 27 acres of space. We will limit the number of tickets that will be sold in there, and we'll work through that piece as well, so that we've got the opportunity for folks to socially distance. And in a lot of this, we trust that our fans will work with us and do the responsible thing along the way. And we'll be reminding folks when we're here at the track what the protocols are. We will have a list of things that we're asking the fans to do. I think we put it in the press release this morning, of things we'll be asking our guests to do, and I trust that we'll have a great experience.
Can you enforce that?
Let me get those. Right? I'm not worried about the number. At this point, what I'm worried about is making sure we've got good protocols in place and that we're talking with our guests and developing a plan that works. Obviously, we're looking at the guidelines as well and doing that. We're a different facility than a lot of others. We'll lock down the backside, for example, and some other things, which we've already done. But I'm more focused on what's the experience going to be now that we have the guidance from the state. We'll go through and talk to all the ticketed customers about what makes sense for them, but obviously it's a reduced capacity.
What's the total number of reserved seats?
About 60,000 seats.
Is there a date by which you expect the team to have that required number?
Well, we know what the guidelines are now, and the guidelines from the state have evolved over time, so we'll be evolving as those evolve. We, over the next couple of weeks, will have a much better idea as we're communicating with our guests, with our ticketed customers, about their needs and expectations. So I think over the next couple of weeks, we're going to learn a lot, and once we have that information, we'll be able to react. The masks are something that I think every business is dealing with. We're going to encourage everybody to wear the mask, especially when they're walking around. You go into a restaurant now, I know that I've been in some restaurants, I wear my mask as I go in the door. and at my table with my family, take my mask off to eat, and I think that's something we're all learning and we're getting used to. You know, I found myself several times putting on my mask to read because it's become a habit. Put on your mask, and my glasses, I can't find them. So we'll work with folks. We're going to encourage them to do it, and we'll be gently reminding folks. We understand that no person's perfect. We all forget sometimes, and we want to do it. But I think we're going to do this together is the real issue is just communicate.
What do you see as the liability in Churchill Downs in the event that coronavirus cases do happen at the event or are spread at the event?
Well, we're very pleased with the protocols that we have in place and the fact that the state public health officials have endorsed them. And so that's what we're going to move forward to educate and communicate with folks who want to come to the Derby, who elect on their own to come to the Derby. We want them to have a great time and enjoy.
So
I think some over here.
Self-responsibility.
I think we're in this all together. So all of us are dealing with something unique that we've never had to deal with, and certainly in my lifetime never had to deal with. And we're learning and we're getting better as a society and as individuals about what we can do to make things positive. So I thought somebody back here had a question.
There won't be any enforcement policy if someone doesn't want to wear a mask if they can't do that. There will still
We're going to look at what the guidelines are as they develop, and again, if the guidelines are that they have to have it, but we're asking all of our guests to wear masks coming in.
And are there any plans to take temperatures or any other measures happening?
Not at this time. All the money that goes through the Wi-Fi is under that piece, yes.
How many general admission tickets do you sell over here?
I don't know that number off the top of my head. Obviously, our attendance overall is around 150 plus thousand, 60,000 permanent seats essentially. So it's between the infield and whatnot. You're looking and the employees and whatnot. You're looking. I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't want to give you the wrong number.
The limited mobility of people in town, you see that being cut by a third, by a third?
General admission will be cut as much as potentially 60%. I was going to say 60%. Again, that's sort of the access control around the facility. Those folks who don't have a seat. Again, I don't want to put a number on it because we're just learning some things and we're working through those issues. What I want to focus on and what I want our team focused on is we've got this big facility. How do we use it in a responsible way?
Typically, you have how many entry points for fans?
We just changed it. We've got the infield gate, we have the paddock gate, we have the clubhouse gate, and the VIP gate. But all of those have additional stalls, so we actually add additional pieces. I don't know the exact number, but we have a lot, and we'll have more. And actually, we are able to spread them out as well because we've got a good footprint out in the parking lot.
Would you change the time that
We actually have a pretty good flow of people coming in throughout the morning. They kind of self-spread out. The timing I'm not so much focused on. It's the placement of the different locations. So we will spread out the locations that people come through the security checks and whatnot to keep them socially distanced.
You made a calculation of how many 60,000 seats fill.
Not at this time. Those are the things we're working on.
Kevin, how much of this is that US Open, no fans, PGA said no fans, this is a different event, you have to do the facility and proximity to participants, how much is that giving you? To his point, we really are a very unique event and a unique facility. We don't fit into the mold of an arena or a golf course. We have sort of different things, so that gives us some flexibility and the opportunity to work on those issues. So that's what we focused on, is the uniqueness of this facility and the event, so that we can do it in a responsible way. All right, well, I appreciate it, and 72 days to Derby. Look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you.